So, UFC 303 has been turned upside down. Now it will be Pereira against Prohashka for the light heavyweight championship at UFC 303, saving the event after Conor McGregor had to pull out with an injury in his bout with Michael Chandler. And we were saying for a little bit that all of it felt a little fishy around this main event, and now we know what was going on. It's that Conor McGregor was out with an injury. They are working to reschedule this bout for sometime in August or September. My initial reaction is to be really hard on McGregor about all of this, but like injuries happen, so it just sucks, right? Like I have said before, I'm over it with the whole Conor McGregor thing. I think when you are postponing events and you have an event that has the biggest gate in the history of your industry, you need to be a bit more forthright with what is going on. And so I think to keep the McGregor news silent for as long as they did, it was a little bit frustrating, but I can also understand it. Like, this is a time where I think we have to more applaud the UFC for getting a card out there than shit on them for how all of this went down. A little bit more transparency would be great, but a little bit more transparency with the Ultimate Fighting Championship is what we have been clamoring for over a decade now, multiple decades now, I guess. Yeah, 10 years ago is 2014. We were well into wishing for more transparency in 2014. So, overall, it was just a lose-lose-lose situation. It's not McGregor holding him up for more money or anything like that. It is just an unfortunate injury situation. So we will see. I'm still favoring Chandler if that fight eventually does happen in August or September. It sucks for Chandler because we are kind of at the tail end of his peak, and it's just been dragged on and on and on. For Prohachka, it is another opportunity now to raise his profile. I think he beats Prohachka. It's an interesting fight. Prohachka has worked his way into this opportunity, but I do think that this is a chance for Pereira to, once again, on one of the sport's biggest stages, which it's not going to be anymore. UFC 303 is just going to be another event instead of UFC 300 like he was on before. International Fight Week, I don't think carries that. It's more cursed than anything, it seems, at this point. But it's still a big stage for him to get another big win on and continue that push to get this guy a heavyweight title shot. I like I said, I would have given him a heavyweight fight at 301, coming off of his win at UFC 300. And it would have been amazing if they could have done a heavyweight title fight, but John Jones wasn't going to take this bout on that short of notice. And Tom Aspinall has the biggest fight of his career coming up against Curtis Blaydes back in England. So you can understand them not necessarily messing with that. Co-main event also had to be changed as Brian Ortega moves into that one to face Diego Lopez, who fought on a card a couple cards ago. I believe that was a Brazil one, and looked like a world beater. So that's a really interesting fight. Also, Khamzat Chimaev is out of his bout in Saudi Arabia. So basically, I'm not going to say a tune-up fight for Robert Whittaker because that's not the case, but the UFC has had some scrambling to do over the last couple of weeks, and it is a difficult situation, especially after you loaded up UFC 300 and you don't have the replacements around to be able to help out, and this card wasn't loaded anyway, so it is a bit of a bummer, that is for sure.